asking any teacher why they want to be honored is interesting, because teaching is such a selfless profession. You know, you don't do it for honors. You don't do it for accolades. You don't teach for recognition. It is such a selfless act. You know, you are not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your students. And so it's very hard to recognize yourself. I want to recognize my students and all the students that I've had for the most amazing things that they have done. And that is, you know, what is just the most beautiful and important thing.
One of the main ways that Gale has influenced my life is an understanding for, really, if I can, the challenges of being a living artist in the Bay Area, the need to teach at the same time and manage a balance of studio practice, as well as having the life spirit to be able to inspire others and then still somehow make sure that you're able to retain some of those energies for your own creativity and keeping up your own career and your own practice. And it's particularly why it's such a great opportunity now to really celebrate her life and her work.
Really hard to nail down a specific moment in time that I think of when I think of Gale Antokal, because they say it's not about what you do or say, but how you are left to be made to feel. And being a student of Professor Gale Antokal left me feeling rewarded and creatively fulfilled, and more importantly, challenged. And so my whole thinking about Gale is less a series of incidents and more year after year of support and foundation and guidance and kindness and love.
I appreciate the way Gale has always been able to balance a dedicated and evolving art practice with her passion for teaching and mentoring up-and-coming artists and students.
And I appreciate the way Gale embodies one of CLA's core principles, that is nurturing the spirit of creative exchange. We love this philosophy of shared learning and feel so fortunate to work with and learn from you, Gale. We love you, Gale.
Gale is my faculty mentor. The thing about teaching in academia is that it's really hard to understand it unless you're inside of it. And so when I landed here at San Jose State, unbeknownst to me, she was my faculty mentor, and she basically kind of laid, the groundwork for, how I approach teaching today.
Everything she does is to kind of give you the context where you can learn something. So to me, everything she did was very intentional, and at the same time, she could be very she could give you really great constructive criticism, and I think you really need that when you're in a graduate program.
Hi, Gale. I just want to say thank you so much for being in my life and for putting so much love into teaching and into being present as a human being with me when I needed just a person to talk to. And just being available. I'm just so proud of you in being able to put so much of yourself into teaching, but then also work on your own art. And yeah, I can't really describe how much you've meant to me in my life, because I think that you've changed my course so drastically. But I just love and adore you.
Gale had an amazing presence as faculty at San Jose State University's Art Department. I remember hearing that she was as revered as she was loved, and I was so fortunate to fall into the good grace of an amazing mentor as well as an even better artist.
Hi Gale, my art mom. You have been so wonderful and supportive since I met you at San Jose State in one of the student art gallery. You quickly became a friend, a mentor, and for a short time, a colleague. I remember well the many visits to your studio during my art school years. I was able to see an artist at work in her studio, a communal with creativity. It left an impression on me as a young artist, so thank you.
I was a professor at San Jose State for 34 years and was trained at the California College of the Arts. I started studying at the California College of the Arts in 1978 and was very, very fortunate to work and study with Jay DeFeo, who was one of my very first teachers. And what was really so important about my work with her is that she was the first person who was able to, you know, as I describe it, push me out into the ocean. I was also working in the offices at CCAC in the enrollment services area and was taking a break and ran into one of my teachers who said, San Jose is looking for somebody for one semester to teach watercolor. Can you do it? And I had an amazing watercolor teacher at CCA, and I said, I'd love to interview for this job. And she said, well, you're totally inexperienced and you probably won't get the job, but I think it's good for you to have the experience of being interviewed. So I went down to San Jose, and I had never been down to San Jose before. I got a phone call that night after my interview telling me I was hired. And here I was just right out of grad school and was about to embark on my first college class, and I had a weekend to prepare, but I was taught so well that it was just a very, very successful class, and so they continued to hire me. And so for years and years, I just was an adjunct at San Jose until I believe it was 2000 or 2001 that I finally got a full-time position and a tenure track position, and then went through that whole route to the end, and now I'm faculty emeritus. Discipline, and I am very disciplined, and I learned that from my teachers because they also taught and had thriving practices. And so it's just something that is ingrained. And so I just was very diligent, you know, in that I worked really hard at San Jose. I came back, and then I would be in my studio from 9 to 5, 9 to 6, until I had children. And everyone was doubting. And I went to friends, other women who I really respected, who were both mothers and professors, and you know, had very, very thriving practices. And I got tremendous support, and I learned from them how you do it. And you just cannot fool around. You have to really structure, you know, what your day is going to look like.
Gale, I just really have you to thank so much for being my first San Jose mom, helping me through so much, in working through so much, and I just wouldn't be where I am today without having influences in my life like you, and so thank you very much.